Shields up, Iron Breakers. How's everybody doing? Today, we're going to be heading out to the Witchhead Nebula, and I'm going to visit the Gnosis, which is, for those of you that don't know, it is the first player-owned ship in the game. Now, this ship has been on many locations, so the Witchhead Nebula is not the first opportunity players have had to visit it, but I've never really visited the Gnosis because I was busy doing other things by the time the Gnosis was finally constructed. Actually, I don't remember if I was even playing the game when the Gnosis was constructed, and if I was playing the game, I was probably still learning the ropes, so I couldn't really grasp the importance of what it is for a player faction to have a megaship, which now, obviously, I can grasp the importance of something like that. But we're pretty far away, so we got a bit of a journey ahead of us, and that is going to allow me to tell a bit of a story, not really a story, but like talk about some of the things that I constantly hear in the community. You guys might notice that my dude's textures aren't really rendering properly. This happens sometimes on PS4. I don't know exactly why. They're still optimizing the game for the PlayStation 4, I believe. I can tell that in terms of frame rate, the 2.4 update really boosted the performance, at least on my PS4, the PS4 Pro. That is really good. So the place that I'm at right now, and also important little detail, we are playing an open right now. So that means if you're on PlayStation 4, on Elite, and if you happen to be at the Gnosis, you will be able to see me come in at the Gnosis in a little bit of time, because basically we have 25 jumps before we get there. So let's just hop on here and let me tell you guys a little bit about the ship. I finally named her. You can't see it yet. I think the information will show up in the next jump, and once that shows up, I'll actually tell you why I named the ship the way that I did. But I would like to let you guys know what we are running today. So right now the ship is still very much in an exploratory role. That is because I don't have enough credits to really deck her out. You guys are like, what are you talking about? You're sitting on 360 million credits. Not enough. It's just not enough, you guys. But I like flying the cutter so much that I decided to make her my main ship, and I just take her out on most of the things that I do. Now let's talk about outfitting, because I know you guys are gonna be like, okay, sir, it's exploratory rules. What are you doing? Okay, 0 heart points. Exploratory ship. You can even call it a science vessel. Since I am visiting a scientific megaship, you could almost say that right now this is a science vessel. Utility mounts, nothing. Zilch, because obviously we want to explore. In terms of core internals, we're rocking a 5A power plant, although I do want to upgrade it to a 6A because, as you can see, we are going above our power limits at this point. We're still pretty okay, but we are going above our power limits, and I'm not a huge fan of that. Rocking them 8A thrusters with modified, whatchamacallit, grade 5 engineered dirty drives. Getting that optimal multiplier near maximum, so it can go fast. Bad boy can go fast. We got that 7A frame shift drive, also with the grade 5 increased FSD. Got a 7D life control, because you don't really need anything higher than that on any ship pretty much ever. Got a 7A power distributor, not engineered, but it is the best the ship can get. 7D sensors, again, for lightness. We're not really going to go into combat with this. And in terms of optionals, we are rocking an 8D fuel scoop. This is not because 8D is lighter, so it's not going to... Like, fuel scoop quality does not affect your jump range. Quality or class. Class or quality of your fuel scoop does not affect anything at all. So basically, the best one here would actually be an 8A. But 8A is too expensive, and this is a temporary fuel scoop anyway. And this was what was available at one of the stations in the bubble where I had the cutter, and I was like, I'll just take this. Boom, done. That's why it's there. Got a 6D shield generator, which is the smallest shield you can put on the cutter. And I just placed this auto field maintenance unit. The reason it's a 6D is because it's the only thing that was available on this station, and I felt like I should take one of these, because we are doing like it's 600 something light years worth of trip. We have a 6D fighter hangar. You guys are like, what's with the fighter hangar? is like when I'm exploring, I like the idea of being able to take a fighter out and just like checking something out in the fighter. So it's kind of like, even though it is ultimately a combat vehicle, I want to use the fighters more to like explore stuff. Like say you find, for instance, a crashed Farragut, not a crashed, but a destroyed Farragut battle cruiser. You can actually take the fighter inside, whereas obviously I can't go inside a Farragut battle cruiser with the cutter. So I'm taking my fighter hangar. We got a cargo rack, very basic planetary vehicle hangar, and an advanced discovery scanner. That's all we're taking with us, pretty much. So let us begin the journey to go and meet with the Gnosis. Now, one of the reasons I also want to go visit the Gnosis is, for starters, it's on a system that I've wanted to visit for a long time, which is not a system, but a nebula, the Witchhead Nebula. I've always been fascinated, mostly by even just the name. It's like, oh, the Nebula of the Witchhead. And also it has an interesting... I need to lower the volume here. Give me a second. This is loud, and this is a loud ship. But as I was saying, there's also the obvious connotation about witch space, Witchhead Nebula. You kind of start connecting those things, and maybe you're like, maybe that'll be interesting, visiting Witchhead Nebula. So we're headed straight to it. And as we go towards the Witchhead Nebula, I would like to tell you guys about something that I've been thinking about. And that something is, actually before we get to that, I wanted to talk about a different topic. There's so many things that I want to talk about today. So I wanted to talk about a topic that one of the comments specifically popped up in my previous video. As a matter of fact, I might just pull that up if I can find it. It's okay, we got a lot of jumps to go through, so we got a lot of time to talk about this stuff. Let me just get one of the comments that kind of marked me a little bit. Maybe I'll just... Not sure if I'm going to read the whole thing, but it's a really big comment. Let me just see. Comment was by... Oh yeah, I need to... Up my... Oh crap, I didn't assign a fire group. Here we go. This is by Tezzy303. He disagrees about when I said the worst thing about Elite Dangerous right now is naval ranks in my last video. And he says that the worst thing is that there is no point to anything that you do. There is no meaning, nothing special. You can love combat, exploration, trading, tourism, even mining. And for the most part, they are fun and done well. Very immersive and some challenges involved. But after doing all those things for a while, it starts dawning on you, why are you doing this? What are you really getting out of it? What impact does that have to the galaxy or solar system, minor faction? What response do you get? The sad answer is barely anything at all. That's the big problem. The galaxy may be procedurally generated and detailed, but the factions, economies, system, ship traffic all seems randomized and mostly static and rather inconsequential. Oh wow, we can't scoot from this star? That sucks. Frontier Dev seems to have, either by decision or lack of competence, not gone far enough in fleshing everything out, not making enough consequences, action, reaction, reward, punishment. I can also add not flashing out the bubble into a living, breathing human ecosystem. As for the rank grind, agree, some rank progression. Okay, this is just different. Then he goes into, that is one of the main things lacking in ED, consequences on your choice and actions, with the living, breathing world galaxy coming to a very close second. So, here when you say there is no point to anything that you do, this is kind of like where I really want to touch upon. Because I've heard this from a lot of people in the community, and I understand that this is a community that has been playing this game for much longer than I have, so you could almost say that I'm still in the honeymoon period of the game, even though, and I should just check this on the before we do the next jump on my scanner there, not scanner, on the right side panel. Let me just see here. Let's park our butts here for a while I check exactly. I'm gonna check how long we've been playing this game for. some reason I always seem to fail at finding this thing. Yeah, I failed again. I have failed yet again. Passengers total hyperspace jump approximate. It should be here, right? Approximate time played. 1 week, 5 days, and 23 hours. Let's actually calculate. I think, for starters, I think this is wrong. I think I've played longer than this. I'm pretty sure I've played longer than this. I don't think this is calculating appropriately. But let's say 1 week is 7 days. So that means 7 days plus 5 days. 12 days times 24 hours each day. It's 288 plus 23. That would mean that I've played this game 311 hours. And again, remember, I said I think this is a conservative estimate on their part. I don't actually think that's right. I think I've played longer than that. I could be wrong, but I do believe that I have played longer. Just take a quick look at this system before we move. Ah, there's nothing here. Okay. That's an interesting name. Struve's Lost Sector HCLB80. I'm not sure what that's about, but I want to check out that particular system. But as I was saying, like, for starters, if I'm able to play a game for 311, I'm just going to start saying 310 hours. It's 311, so 310 hours. Nice round number. If I'm able to play a game for 310 hours and still consider that I'm in the honeymoon phase of that game, you know, just think about that. Just really think about that for a minute there. 311 hours. Still think I'm in the honeymoon phase. I'd say that's pretty good. I'd say, as a matter of fact, if I've played for 311 hours and I was sick to death of the game at this point, I'd still think that was pretty good. You know what I'm saying? It's like, when it comes to how much hours of entertainment I've gotten out of this game so far, I'd say 311 hours is pretty friggin' impressive. Wow, there's still non-human sources here, huh? Interesting. But as I was saying, the whole thing about what you do doesn't mean anything. See, I have a little bit of a problem with that. Because it's like, to me, games have always been more about the journey than necessarily the destination. So it's like, I get the feeling that you want it to be some kind of centerpiece of the hero to this adventure, and this is a sandbox world. You're not going to be the hero of Elite Dangerous. The most you can expect for is to somehow have a meaningful impact in some of the things that happen, like, for instance, being the first player that got hyperdicted by a Thargoid. See, that's the kind of stuff that gets immortalized forever. I don't know exactly what the guy's name was, but I know that they have that commander's name plastered all over forums and all over, you know, just all over the place, basically. If you start looking up Thargoid lore and stuff like that, that guy's name will always come up, just like the guy who first caught the very first unknown artifact, currently called Thargoid sensors, I believe. Yeah, those names are forever immortalized. And that's like as much of an impact as you can have as a single individual. If you want to impact the game's world more than that, you're going to have to organize into a group, which is, for instance, what Canon did. It's actually interesting that I'm discussing this topic now. It's like I've got a couple of planets out here. I'm just checking out these systems because I've never really been out here, and I'm curious. It's pretty far. I'm just wondering, there's probably some interesting stuff on some of these, but we're going to be moving on. Because if I just stop at every system that I come across, I'm just never going to be able to move on. And as I was saying, like, if at that point, if you're able to organize into a group like Canon Research did, you're able to influence the game in a much different way. Like, they have the Cannon Research Institute, which was placed into the game for them. They have the Gnosis megaship, which is where we're headed right now. And this is because, specifically, the influence of a player group. So it's like you can have agency in this game. It's just you're not going to have agency by yourself. Now, you can influence the background simulation. I'm not going to pretend to know exactly how a lot of that stuff works because I just don't. But you can influence the background simulation. Whole bunch. Wow, there's like 3 stars in here. You can influence it in a way to like generate boom states and generate famines and generate wars and manipulate that stuff to your heart's content in order to get you specific missions and stuff like that. Is that going to be reported like through Galnet and stuff? No. I mean, if you're one player, you know, manipulating the background simulation somewhere off in the middle of the galaxy, it's not going to get reported. Just like in real world, it wouldn't matter. Like, say, for instance, if all of a sudden you're like, I'm going to live off the grid. You know, in the real world, I'm going to live off the grid. Like, what do you want? You expect CNN to report John Doe decides to live off the grid. No, it's not really major news. That's the kind of scope that we're talking about when we're talking about Elite. You can't just expect one person to have a massive impact, which is also something that one of the reasons why I'm considering applying to join for the Cannon Research Group, because I kind of want to be on the vanguard of some of these discoveries, and obviously going at it alone is not going to be something that is going to satisfy me in that regard, which is why I'm considering checking those things out. Wow, these planets look cool. I'm not going to stop at every single thing and do this. I was just doing it for a little bit because I'm curious as to what I can find out here, basically. Because I've never been too far away from the bubble, apart from when I did my 5,000 light years trip for the Palin thing. Either way, we still have a long way to go until we get to the Witchhead Nebula. Rui, what are the normal stream start times, by the way? There aren't any. Usually it should be like, I don't know, we'll have a stream at around 3 p.m. BST and then another one at 5 or 6 p.m. BST. That is what I would like, but today I was delayed because I was helping out Nox Tom with a computer build. He's trying to build himself a PC for work, and I was trying to help him out with that, so this stream got a little bit delayed in the process of that. But as I was saying, on the subject of impact and all that stuff, you do have to organize in groups to be able to impact. Like, we've had the Winged Hussars community goal, we've had those other guys who were doing the candy shop and all of these other things. These are all player-influenced events that are happening in-game, and if you have a player group big enough, you can have certain events and you can influence the fate of the galaxy in certain ways. But it's not like something that's going to happen dynamically in in-game systems. Whoa. There's no star here. There's supposed to be a star in here. Over there. Huh. It's so weird when you jump into these systems that, you know, I'm just used to instantly seeing the sun right in front of my face. Then you jump onto these systems where the sun, you don't jump close to its dominant star. It becomes kind of weird. Either way, let's scoop up a little bit of fuel before we move onwards. Excuse me, if I can even scoop up some fuel. Don't tell me I can't scoop in here. Yep, no scooping. Okay. Onwards to the next system then. Sure will live. Luckily the cutter here has an impressive, well, not impressive, but it has a pretty big fuel, call it, Damn, what a blank. My mind just completely blanked. A fuel container, a fuel... It's gone. It's just straight up gone. Whatever, fuel deposit. It has a really big fuel thing. Thingamajig. It can take a lot of fuel, is what I'm getting at. But continuing onwards on that topic, another game that I feel a lot of people really criticized its ending. And I understand some of the criticism on the ending of that specific game. It wasn't really my case. I didn't feel like I got cheated because the choices I made, the ending that I had was fine. And that game is Mass Effect 3. And you guys are like, you're going to sit there and defend the ending of Mass Effect 3? No. I'm not going to say the ending of Mass Effect 3 was this big mind-blowing thing that was amazing and all that. No, it was whatever. It ended. But what I do want to say is that I really enjoyed the journey through Mass Effect 3 up until when it ended. So therefore, the ending didn't seem that bad to me. You know? I didn't have any problems with the ending I got, which if you guys are wondering, I went with the red ending and I had 100% on the multiplayer thing that you had to go and do. And now I didn't like the fact that it was tied into multiplayer. I think that was a pretty dumb way of doing it. But ultimately, I'm not going to be like, oh man, it fucking sucked because of it. It's like, I wasn't that disappointed. And it's not like I didn't like the multiplayer or something, you know? I thought the multiplayer was alright. So I didn't have too many problems with it. But ultimately what I'm getting at is that it shouldn't just be about the end. It shouldn't just be about, oh, I want my actions to have like some serious like, sure, it's great when your actions can have serious consequence, but I think more important than your actions having consequence is, did you enjoy the actions that you did? Which is why for me it was so important to talk about the naval rank, because I love the fact that I now have an Imperial cutter because it was a ship that I really wanted to buy. So the consequence there for me personally was great. The consequence of the actions that I did, it's fucking fantastic. I got to buy a cutter, which I'm not saying is this big transcendental thing or something. I got to buy a cutter, and I was really happy with the fact that I was able to buy a cutter. But did I have fun on the path along the way to getting that cutter? Sure, I had fun in some of the things I did, but I didn't have fun on the specific rank grinding to get the cutter. And that's why I felt it was important for me to talk about that aspect of it. Because, you see, I wasn't having fun during that journey. Whereas what I'm doing now, for instance, going up to the Gnosis in the Witch Head Nebula, like, what's the big effect that is going to get on the galaxy? There's not going to be any effect at all. I'm just going to go there. You know? It's almost like thinking, what's going to be the big effect if I go to Disneyland? Nothing. Nobody's going to care. The world's going to keep on spinning. You might have fun. That's what matters. And that's the same thing that I see in here, which is like, if your only motivation to play a game like Elite Dangerous is to change things and make sure that you're forever immortalized in the game, and if that's your main motivation for playing Elite Dangerous, if you want to be that hero, if you want to be the protagonist of Elite Dangerous, then maybe Elite Dangerous is just not the game for you. Because I don't think Elite Dangerous is ever going to be that game where there's this big protagonist. Like, you can be the protagonist of your story, which is what I do. I'm the protagonist of my own story, of the things that I'm doing in this game, which I've done quite a few things that I enjoyed. And ultimately, again, it all boils down to whether or not you enjoy the journey. You know, and if you're just someone who is focused on the end game, on getting there, on finishing it, and doing the thing, again, I'm not entirely sure that is what Elite Dangerous is all about. I mean, that's one of the things that I said when I did my first impressions video on Elite Dangerous, is that this game is not for everyone. It is just straight up not a game that is for everyone. And some people will not enjoy this game at all. But for the people that do enjoy this kind of gameplay, this game is fucking fantastic. That's what I can say about that whole thing of whether or not you have agency or not. You do have agency. It's just a matter of how you choose to employ that agency and what you're going to get out of it in terms of satisfaction. Now on to another topic that I want to talk about, which is, like I said, I want to apply, or I'm considering applying to the Canon research group so that I'm at the forefront of some of this stuff. Because I said before 2.4 hit that I wanted to be more on the front of this. I wanted to be more trying to do the discovery things and trying to explore certain things, and it's just impossible as a single player to do all of these things, to actually have first discoveries and stuff like that, because there's other more organized groups that already know what they're doing and they're trying to do all of these other things as well, which is, I would like to join them so that I could try and get some of these first finds, like the INRA base that was found shortly after the trailer for Elite Dangerous. And I also want to visit that INRA base with you guys. Yeah, that's something that I'm considering, which is why we're visiting the Gnosis, and I also plan on eventually visiting their base of operations, which is, I guess their base of operations now is just the Gnosis. It's like, kind of makes sense, because they have a mobile base of operations, even though I still want to visit the Canon Institute and Thompson Dock, which is, theoretically speaking, where the Canon Research Group, that's what they call their HQ, so to speak. We're going to have a whole bunch of cartography data. I wonder if I can actually sell it when I get to the Gnosis. Although I should probably sell it back at Merope. I'll probably make some more money that way, assuming that I don't die along. I'm just trying to find some kind of anomaly or something. We're getting close. I don't know if that is the Witch Head Nebula over there on the upper left side, but I think it might be. I also might want to go actually to the middle of the Witch Head Nebula, so we might take it a couple of jumps further once we get to the nebula. I was trying to find like a passenger mission for someone that wanted to go there, but I couldn't find one, so I was just like, the hell with it. I'll just go there myself. I don't need no stinking passengers. The hell with all that. FDev needs to give us more tools for exploration, says Fuse. Yep. I agree. There need to be more interesting things happening for exploration, which are coming. Particularly that codex thing that is coming. I think that is going to be particularly interesting, that people can actually register some of this stuff. Like, I was looking through the Canon website earlier today because I was trying to figure out what I wanted to show you guys, and I figured, okay, let's go up to the Gnosis. It's kind of like something that's relevant, but there's so many interesting things that they've discovered throughout the galaxy, and I kind of want to be a part of that. Now, I want to discover something. And that brings us a little bit full circle to a subject that I mentioned earlier in this video, which was the name of the ship. Which, in case you guys haven't noticed, it has updated. It has been up there for a while now. Ended up calling her Lusitania. Guys, I mean, what is Lusitania? Lusitania is the older name of a place that you guys might now know as Portugal. So it is like the older name of my country. So it's kind of like a homage to my ancestors, who were natural-born explorers, kings of the seas, you could almost say, during the Age of Discoveries. We were completely unmatched seamen, my ancestors. And so I kind of figured this is a bit of a homage to that. Another reference that this name is a reference to... There's also been another ship that was called the Lusitania, and I'm not sure how many of you guys know your history, but the Lusitania, one could argue, was pretty much the start of World War I, when there was a German U-boat that torpedoed and sank Lusitania, which was a British vessel. See, even the British were paying homage to Portuguese vessels by naming their vessel Lusitania. But, yeah, German U-boat torpedoed and sunk Lusitania, and I think that was kind of like the trigger for World War I or something, which makes this a bit of a double-edged name to my ship.
Frameshift drive charging.
Raven B, it's Vasco da Gama, not the Gama. Vasco da Gama. D-A.
4, 3, 2.
Oh, Fuse is Portuguese. Good stuff. Also, I keep saying Fuse. It's not really how you're supposed to pronounce that name. Not sure if it's supposed to be Fuzz or Fuzze, but it's not Fuse. Fuse would be an S, not a Z.
Power plant capacity exceeded.
Let's see how many jumps we have ahead of us.
Fuel scooping.
We got 7 jumps until we get to the sector that the Gnosis is reported being parked at.
Fuel scooping complete.
Once again, do remember, you guys, I am in open, so if any of you have ships out here in the Witchhead Nebula, you can, if you want to show up at the Gnosis, you will see me dock there. Assuming the Gnosis even has large landing pads, which I don't even know if it does. Hopefully it does. Like, it would make sense, because, I mean, the biggest exploration ship is... Not the biggest let's say, the ship that can jump the farthest is a large ship, which is Honda. I almost wish my ship could jump a little. That'd be cool.
Power plant capacity exceeded.
But there's a lot of mysteries out there in the galaxy. Wow, 60 astronomical. There's space stations in this system? There aren't. Holy crap. Look at all the stuff there is in this system.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
How close are these? 124. 125. So they're 1,000 light seconds apart. If they were closer. Could be interesting. Maybe it is interesting. I don't actually know. And I don't think I'm willing to wait time for traveling 220 something thousand light seconds. Particularly when we have one objective where we want to go. Let's just head out to our destination. Why am I heating up so much? Okay, this is normal. Dark Bubby 9. Hi, and that was the trigger for the Americans to join the war. Yep. Pretty much. The Lusitania getting sunk by the Germans was the trigger for the Americans to join World War I.
Power plant capacity exceeded.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing a lot of times that power plant capacity exceeded because of, oh, we're going to be jumping into the Witchhead sector right now. That's cool.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
That's actually... I wanted to see something else. I wanted to see the galaxy map. How close we are. Witchhead Nebula is like over here. We're in the Witchhead sector. We're not in Nebula yet. Oh, so the Gnosis is actually right in the middle of the Nebula. This is the Witchhead. I want to go right to the center of it. Looks like the system most in the center of the Nebula. Be this one, the GWWC12. As far as I can... Because where the Gnosis is, you should get a really good view of the Nebula. Without actually being at the Nebula. Because I want us to go right to the center of it. We're going to go to the center of the Witchhead Nebula. no matter what.
Frameshift drive charging. Ready to engage. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Haven B, I have heard that Shadow of War has a hot, scantily clad spider waifu. Yeah, it's Shelob. I believe one of the directors was even quoted by saying, the reason we made Shelob a female is because sex sells. I mean, a female woman is because sex sells. I think it was something like that. I don't know. I don't know if that was the case or not. I have nothing against that, though. I mean, I'd be pretty hypocritical if I was to criticize them for making Shelob a female woman when I love the crap out of Nier Automata, and the director of Nier Automata, Yoko Taro, was actually quoted as said, and someone asked him, why'd you make 2B look the way she does? And he's just like, I just really like women. Like, I just really like women. Like, that's as much of a straight shooter as you can get. He's like, I just really fucking like women. There you go. And he's like, oh, there's all these pictures of naked 2B. It'd be great if someone could just zip them on the internet, send them to me. This is Yoko Taro just going like, yeah, it'd be great if someone would have like a centralized archive of all the 2B pictures. That guy's awesome. Oh, man. Either way, I'm excited. I'm always excited to go to a place that I haven't been to. I'm actually planning, I keep saying this, I haven't done it yet, but I'm actually planning to eventually go to Sagittarius A. Maybe even all the way out to Beagle Point.
Frameshift drive charging.
I think that would be interesting. Going out to Beagle Point. Female woman, isn't that a double up? Yeah, I just figured I should clarify it's a female woman because you could say that the spider is already a female lob. Oh. So if I just said a female, or I could just say, I guess I could just say a woman, making Shelob a woman.
Power plant capacity exceeded. Fuel scooping.
Deeper and deeper into the Witch Head sector.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
I need to start looking at the Nebula because it's gonna start showing up like very prominently, right? At that thing over there. That's not the.
4, 3,
Where is it? Maybe it is. But I need to start scouting for it. Well, technically speaking, when we start jumping closer to the Gnosis, we should start pointing towards it automatically.
power plant capacity exceeded. Fuel scooping.
Let's scoop up on this star and see if we can locate the nebula from here. I think we should be going below the nebula. Because the Gnosis is below the nebula, not at the nebula.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Does it not light up that much? I think we'd get a lot more of a light show. Holy crap. Like those little blue things up ahead. Imagine that's what... Like, how many jumps do we have? We got one jump. One jump away from the Gnosis, and then I'm going to take us right to the middle. Well, and again, if I take us right to the middle of the nebula, that would probably not be the best position to admire the nebula. But it does look pretty cool from here. I mean, just look at this. Now look at that and tell me that doesn't look cool as hell. Not exactly sure if I understand why they call it the Witchhead Nebula. It is impressive, look. Particularly like I have this massive TV in front of me, just looking at this. Yeah, guys, this is our destination. Witchhead Nebula. Trying to rotate it to see why it's called Witchhead. Like, which part of it looks like a witch? This thing almost looks like a creature. Like you can see this would be its mouth, like the little tear. Either way, let's make our final jump.
Frameshift drive charging.
What ship is this again? This is the Imperial Cutter. Haven B, we are looking for the Gnosis, which is the only player-run megaship in the game. And it's reported to be on this system.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete.
Oh, there it is, the Gnosis. Let's head out there. I want to take a good look at the Gnosis, and that's another reason why I brought the fighter hangar, because I'll be able to pilot my agile fighters around the Gnosis, just checking it out. I should aim to get my own megaship. They're going to be less meaningful next year because they're going to make a lot of players be able to get carrier fleets. What are they called? Is it called carrier fleet? I don't know. It's something, carrier something. And when that becomes a thing, having your own megaship is not going to be as important. So, in a way, Cannon Research Group kind of already won the megaship game by being the first group to own a megaship. But the cool thing about the Cannon Research Group is also that, you know, they actually use the ship to do exactly what their group is reported to do, which is they use it to investigate certain areas of the galaxy. They use it as a portable station that they can dock in, and, you know, so that they can have their ships running missions and recon. They're probably reconning the planets on this system. Like, they're probably reconning all of these planets out here. That's why they have their ship here. Or so I would imagine. I actually don't know the motivation why they're here. Looks like they're also the controlling faction of this system, because of the fact that they're probably also the only faction in this system. I wonder if I can sell them cartography data, if that's a thing. to raise my rank with the Cannon Research Institute. And now as I come into the Gnosis, there's just someone out there waiting for me, blasts me down with torpedoes before I even get to dock. Because I should have reminded myself, there probably aren't any guards at the Gnosis. So any griefer can just come to the Gnosis and shoot me down, and my 6D shields, there's probably not a whole lot I can really do about it. Let's hope that doesn't happen, because that would put an end to our trip real quick. Need to go further down, otherwise the rings are going to mess with my speed. Rings and the planet. Mostly the planet. I don't like being slowed down by planets. It's right at the edge of the ring. I wonder why they put these ships at the edge of rings. Like the Hydra is also at the edge of a ring. Not exactly sure what the reasoning is.
Power plant capacity exceeded.
This is Cannon Flight Control. Please note that access to our scientific facilities is by authorization only.
I believe this was actually recorded by the players because I've never heard that voice on an announcer. Oh. Oh, they actually do have security out here. This is the Gnosis, the only player-owned capital ship game. Let's go ahead and head out, have ourselves a little flyby. Oh, I can't deploy? Ooh, I'm in a no-fire zone. Interesting, I didn't know you couldn't deploy fighters in a no-fire zone. I need to exit the no-fire zone in order to deploy a fighter. I wonder if they're going to let me approach my fighter after I leave the no-fire zone. I really wanted to use my fighter to, like, do some reconnaissance. Oh, this looks great. No wonder they picked this spot. Look at that! That's the Witch Head Nebula. I want to go right into the middle of that after we dock with the Gnosis. Are we still in no fire zone? Actually, looks like we've left the no fire zone a while. I think no fire zone would probably be the 750, the 7,500 meter range. Let's go ahead, deploy this bad boy. And I'm gonna order Helm to stay behind.
Completed. Hangar is secure, Commander. Whatever you say, Commander. Position static until you return.
See, this is why I wanted to have the fighters. Just a cool little ship to walk around. I just gotta be careful not to fire. Can I? You can't even undeploy hardpoints. Just look at how big the Gnosis is. A big ship. Cannon, Interstellar Research Group. They even have their own player emblem. Then there's the little habitation units. Well, it's not really a habitation unit, it's more like a foresty area. He's a pretty good looking megaship. So the cool thing about this one is, as well, for those of you who don't know, they can actually jump this ship. So they basically request to FDev to jump their ship to different systems. I mean, I'm assuming they have some kind of a limit as to how often they can do it and how much they can jump. But just the simple fact that they can jump this massive ship to whatever system they happen to be operating on is pretty cool. And as you can see, it works kind of like the Hydra. It's got these outside docking facilities. Matter of fact, it's very similar to the Hydra. I like these mega ships. I like docking with them. It's cool stuff. This is one of the dockings. This looks like a small, maybe medium pad. Assuming the ship has defenses as well, like in case you're messing around. Gnosis. I've recently seen another ship like this. It had been destroyed though. Is this a thruster? Jeez, this is a massive thruster over here. These would be your main propulsion system, imagine. Yep, look at these bad boys. This is just to give you guys an idea of the size. I'm actually going to try going inside one of the thrusters. It'll probably explode my ship. I love how fast these little fighters can go. Still haven't touched it. Wait a second. Which way is my fighter facing? Okay, this is top. It's facing like this. Bonk. As you can see, it's pretty big. Wait, let me do this. We're gonna go inside the Gnosis thrusters. Whee! It actually doesn't let you go inside. Bonk, bonk. As you can see, pretty big friggin' thrusters. Pretty impressive looking ship. See, this is the reason why I like having these fighters. I couldn't do these flybys through the insides of the station on my cutter. I like doing this kind of stuff. Is that a rock? A little rock. Oh, it's gone. Well, let's stop farting around. Let's go dock with it. Where's my ship? I don't actually know where my ship is. Kinda lost track of her. This thing's probably pointing there, right? Yep, there it is.
Ready for retrieval, Commander. Approach when ready.
The hell are you doing, woman? Stop flying the stop! This is what you get when you put women behind the wheel. Just joking.
Fighter docking sequence initiated.
See you later, King Juan.
Docking completed. Hangar is secure, Commander.
Okay, let's go ahead and dock with the Gnosis.
Permission granted, Commander. Laboratory space will be allocated upon a successful landing.
I'm still getting used to how much the cutter drifts, which is why I've been flying her everywhere to get used to it. She drifts so much, and I use the thrusters on the other ships so often.
Attention, Commander. Deploy your landing gear.
Don't worry about my landing gear, mate. I've got it.
Landing gear deployed.
What? That was weird. Here's what kind of services they
Landing
provide.
complete. Clamps engaged. Welcome, Cannoneer.
Welcome, Cannoneer. Oh, they actually have a commodities market. That's cool. I didn't know they would have a commodities market. We also have contacts. Ooh, you can even have my power contact. The search and rescue agent. That is cool. The fact that there's a search and rescue agent is pretty cool. Even a combat bond contract. And there's universal cartographics, which means I can sell to get reputation with Canon.
Incoming message.
And I will sell to get reputation with Canon. Because then I can, on my application form, I can probably type, by the way, I'm allied with the Canon research group. I don't actually think that matters. Just like a little note. Oh wow, my reputation, neutral. Really? For real? For real? Oh, it clearly says here. You are now cordial. You are now friendly. Yeah, I'm friendly with the Canon Research Group. They don't have a shipyard, do they? They do have outfitting, though. Interesting. I wouldn't expect them to have outfitting. Very curious to see what kind of modules the Canon Group stocks. If they have weapons in here, there's a serious problem. They can't have weapons. I'm very curious. Now I'm really curious to see what they have. I love how there's South Kruger publicity in the frickin' Canon Research Group's hangar. Let's see. Heart points? Mouse shop. Dude, look at all the weapons they have. What is this? What is this? Dude, they have tons of weapons in here. This is not okay. Well, at least they don't have huge hard points, but they have... Wait, they do have huge hard points. And burst lasers. They have a huge burst laser. What the hell? Yeah, here at the Canon Research Group, we're a friendly bunch. We're just interested in researching Or blasting the fuck out of whoever wants to mess with us. I gotta be honest, I did not expect them to have weapons at their facility. I just wouldn't think that would be a thing. I guess that was probably a part of the CG. Or so I would expect. That would be a part of the CG, like the modules that they get to stock on their thing. By utility mount. Shaft launchers, ECMs, heat sinks, and shield boosters. Internals. Have power plants all the way to 8C. I was actually considering a 6D. But it's worse. So when I do upgrade, it'll have to be at 6A. When I do upgrade, it'll have to be at 6A. For now, because eventually I'll want to have an 8A. See, now this I would think they would need to have the best one. They don't. They don't have A-class modules. That's probably one of the limitations. But they still stock a lot of modules, and the thing that I was looking for earlier was fuel tank. Crying out loud. They do stock a lot of modules. That's pretty cool. I was curious, can I actually transfer stuff here? I can. I can transfer my modules to the Gnosis and you just can't follow through with it. That's pretty cool. Let's repair our ship. Holy crap. 107,000 credits. Ship integrity. Pretty expensive. I'm not going to fix the paint though. Which, by the way, my ship is marked as an exploration vessel right now. Check out see it. But on top there, that sticker that's on top of my ship, it's my exploration rank. Ranger Exploration. I have the same on every vehicle that is on this ship. So the fighters, the SRVs, they all have just the right now, because right now I'm still flying the cutter as a very peaceful vessel. Paladin Leroy, they research cannons. The Cannon Research Group. They research cannons. Okay, anyway, now we're going to make our trip to the middle of the Witch Head Nebula, like I said I was going to.
You are clear to leave.
Landing gear retracted.
Nice docking with the Gnosis. That's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and... It's not up. Go ahead and pick the system that is right in the middle of the Witch Head Nebula. I'm gonna go for up. Now it is. Why? Unsure as to whether or not. Damn it! I was not sure as to whether or not I was looking at it properly. Circle it around. Middle of the net. Right here. Therefore, got this. So I'm coming here to this system. Not crash into the meteor field. Asteroid. Particularly because if I crash into anything with this ship, it'll probably just destroy the ship with my 60 shields. Here we go. Onwards to the Witchhead Nebula. Right to the middle of it. Anarchy system. I haven't been paying attention as to what kind of systems we've been finding so far. Boom reported. That means there's actually stations there at the Witchhead Nebula. I wasn't aware of that.
4, 3, 2, 1, Power plant capacity exceeded. Fuel scooping.
Witchhead Science Center. Oh, I wasn't aware there was such a thing. It's an asteroid base. So technically speaking, we should be right in the middle of the nebula. So dark out here. The exact opposite of like Sag A. Or so I would expect. I kind of expected this nebula to be more impressive though, I gotta be honest. Not a particularly impressive nebula. Covered new signal source. What kind of signal sources are we getting out here? This is a terrible idea. Not sure I should jump out into this. But hey, I'm curious, why would people be fighting out here?
Hold tight, Commander. Fighter is going online.
Seriously, a
Fighter
sidewinder?
is online. I'm ready when you are.
Oops, not what I meant to do.
Frameshift charge detected. Cannot comply.
Copy that, Commander.
Get him!
Engaging enemy now.
Get him! It's a pirate. pirate evaded us. You have failed me for the last time, Annabella. Your ass in here.
Wilco, Commander. Returning to fighter bay now.
Interesting that that was threat 2. It was a friggin' sidewinder. Fighter going. I'm actually going to swap these fighters out for condors because I like these fighters, but I think I like condors more.
Sequence complete. Fighter is safely on board, Commander.
Okay, let's head back into the Witchhead Science Center.
Frameshift drive charging.
Oh, when that was formed. It's definitely interesting.
1. Engage.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, you actually discovering, instead of just, like, constantly watching what other people have discovered, you're actually the one discovering the galaxy. And this is what's important to me. This will probably be our last stop for this live stream, though. I do eventually plan on exploring other bits of the galaxy, but today's point was just to get to the Gnosis, talk a little bit about that comment that I saw in the video that I kind of figured I should address it and share my personal opinions on it. Oh wow, is it getting more vivid? Well, yeah, it was like limited because of the other star that we had. Oh my god. Now it looks way more impressive. Jesus. Okay, now it definitely looks more impressive. That star was just making everything darker. Welcome to the Witchhead Nebula, guys. When we're done with the stream here, I'm definitely going to start taking some serious screenshots. I wish that we didn't have that much pixelation over there. This is probably because the PS4 version. I'm pretty sure that on the PC, you can probably get better visuals on that little bit. Looks like it's inside. Is it in the middle of the meteor showers? Not meteor showers, the asteroid. Resource extraction sites out here. This planet looks pretty cool. Gas giant, I'm assuming. It's right in the middle of one of the rings. I wonder if this actually looks different from the regular asteroid bases. It looks just like a typical asteroid base. That's a little bit disappointing. Just like Black Mount Orbital. Actually, no, it does look a little bit different. Yeah, it's a little bit cleaner than Black Mount Orbital.
Landing gear deployed.
We've done it, team. We've reached Witchhead Nebula. We've docked with the Gnosis. That was our objective for today. Now I'm probably gonna go ahead and head back. Because most of the interesting stuff is actually happening around the Pleiades. Although I do want to visit that Enra base. That might be our next episode. Visiting the Enra base. And checking out the logs there and stuff. But, yeah, I wanted to visit the Gnosis before I actually applied for the Canon Research Group, which I'm probably going to do after this stream. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream. If you did, be sure to hit it with a like. Really helps out. If you are new here, subscribe so that you're always notified when there's a new video or a new live stream happening on the channel. Thank you guys very much for hanging out. Comments, feedback, all that kinds of good stuff if you're watching this as a VOD, and I will see you guys